Hey everyone, welcome to our live. Hi Deanne,
Hello.
how are you doing?
I'm good. I'm so excited for this.
Oh,
Getting my
good
little
stuff.
chat set up on my phone, which
Um,
I probably won't
for
look
the-
at very much at all, but anyway.
that's fine. I've got two versions of the chat on my screen, so between those two, I should be able to kind of catch most things. I was just looking at because for anyone that uses StreamYard, you'll kind of know what I'm talking about. For anyone that doesn't, this will be gobbledygook. But um, in the brand section where you start to see the countdown timer that I always use, it's in the brand section, and I'm just looking. They've added like background music stuff,
Oh,
and I'm
fancy.
wondering. So I just want to try this out just for pure curiosity, right? Just to see what this is like. So I'm going to hit play on this. Ooh, and I can change. Oh no! Oh yeah, I can change the volume. But
Oh.
there's dance pop as well. Hang on. Sorry, that's not very dance poppy. Oh wait, here it comes.
Gotta wait for it.
Yeah,
Oh,
there she
wow.
is.
And
Um,
and before you would have had to import something, right?
yeah. Well,
Okay.
before I wouldn't be able to because I only use the free version. I don't pay for StreamYard,
Okay.
so there's lots of features that I don't get. Um, but yeah, no, that's quite cool that they've done that. I won't. We won't go all out. We won't use it in this live unless we particularly feel the desire to have a wee bit of background music. But yeah, that's quite cool. So hi everyone and welcome. I am delighted to be joined by Deanne. Me and Deanne, I think we've been talking about doing a live together since like the beginning of time, haven't we?
Pretty
Um,
much.
and it's been a while since we last got together, so I'm really pleased. I actually kind of just invited myself on because Deanne was talking about doing a response to this tag, um, and I said, "Well, we do it together." So I've really just forced myself into Deanne's VR. So that's what this is. Um,
Well, I said, I had watched yours, which was a video that you'd done a long time ago, but you know how I am. I like to go back in time and watch videos that I've missed. And I just said you probably would have an updated, set now. And so it was,
yeah, yeah, true. I'm going to go down and say hi to everyone that's here, and I'll do it just now whilst there's not an unmanageable amount of people to say hello
right.
to. So Janine was first in. She says, "Early bird, hi Chris and Deanne. It will be interesting to see your faves." And if I don't say it again, I'll say it just now. I'm wanting everybody to join in here. This will be really good if everyone kind of puts in the chat what their favourite of each card is. So this is very much intended to be interactive, rather than just me and Deanne showing our cards. We want to hear what everybody's favourites are. So bear that in mind. Start thinking about what your particular favourites are for each card. Um, Pamela Batchelor's here. Hi, Chris. So nice to see you with Deanne again at long last. Yep, agreed.
Yeah.
Hi, Deanne, and hi to Jeannie B. Jeannie B. Oh, Janine. Um, Red Wing's here. Hi, Red Wing. Simon says, "I'm so excited to spend some time with you two lovely people." Oh, well, we're excited to spend time with you too. Simon, are you still? I've watched the first half of your latest video, and really enjoyed it. Ramon is a very generous person. Um, but yeah, you're staying at a friend's house to look after the dogs. So are you still there just now, or are you back home now, Simon? Um, Donna Riedler's here. Hi, Donna. The lovely Robin from Toadstool Tarot is here. Hi, everyone. Full stop.
Right. Is this, I can't even think right now. Did Robin start this tag?
I think so. Yeah, I think to be honest, I was trying to kind of trace it back. I think Robin did start hashtag major favorites, or he started one of them. There's also like hashtag 22 faves, but I've also seen people do a PR major favourites to, oh, I don't know, someone else, and it may well be that that person's not even on YouTube anymore. I'm not sure.
Oh, okay.
But it's one of those ones that's so old that we don't know where it started.
Right.
But the tag, not about Robin there, just putting that out there.
Right.
Oh, Deanne's there. Hi, Deanne.
Hi.
See Kathy from Tortoiseshell Moon. Hi, Kathy. We've got the lovely Regina, who is work lurking as always. Simon says it's always been there, Chris. It's what I play 5 minutes before going live. Oh, is it?
I think I saw him comment after that.
Oh,
He said, "Oh, the free version."
yeah. I was just going to say, I think that's because Simon's got the fancy version of it. Um, the all singing, all dancing version. I don't. Um, let's see. Oh, Ramon's here from Moonscarab. Hi, Ramon. How are you? Let's see. Debbie from Aquarius Owl. We have got Kim from Abundant Life Tarot. I was just talking about you, Kim. I think it might have been before we went live, actually, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I was talking about your video that I popped in on there. All good things. Orshi's here. Hi, Orshi. How you doing? Lovely Sandra from Spirit of Avalon. We've got. Oh, Simon says, I may struggle with this one. Where do I begin with my decks? Just pick one at random. Pick one at random and go through it and say, is this, look at each of your majors and say, is this a potential favourite? That's kind of what I did. Oh, right, okay, yeah, so Simon is still at his friends here until Saturday. Oh, that's a nice wee breakaway. Robin says, to the best of my knowledge, I started it. And yeah, I think I've caught everyone. If I haven't, then hi, I've not meant to miss you out. Lovely to see you here and thanks for joining us. So yeah, we're doing hashtag major favourites. Now, each time I've thought about trying to explain what this is, I realised that it's actually quite difficult to explain the theory behind this tag. Or maybe that's just me not being able to articulate myself well, but I think it will become clear what we're doing when we start doing it. The idea is you think of each major arcana card, so for example, the Fool, and you think, right, from which deck, all of the Fools that I've got on my shelf, which is my favourite, and so on and so forth through the major arcana. So me and Deanne have both got a deck, and as a wee preview, I'll fan them out and show you the back. So we've both got a deck of randomly assorted major arcana cards that we're going to share with you. See, just very quickly before we start the tag, though, I wanted to just quickly acknowledge that Tina Turner has passed away.
Yeah.
I think Tina Turner's amazing, and I was really sad to hear it yesterday. Sandy told me, and when he mentioned it, I was kind of gutted, to be honest with you, because I think she was an amazing person, and I loved her music, of course. So yeah, rest in peace, rest in power, Tina Turner. Yeah, Pink Divination's here. Hi there, lovely to see you. I think this might be the first time I've met you, so welcome if it is. Okay, do you want to get started?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll let you go first.
Okay. So just as like a general note, this was easier than I thought it would be. And I said that to Chris right before we started. And then I thought, well, before I fall asleep tonight or tomorrow, I'll think of one that I should have used that. But honestly, for the most part, it was pretty easy. And I also found it interesting that most of I have quite a number of decks. And a ton that I view as like a comprehensive favorite, like this whole deck is amazing, like a whole album is amazing, for example. It was really interesting because a lot of those types of decks are not what I went to pull these like unique or like favorite to me majors. I don't know. So maybe Simon, if you want to try it, it'll be easier than you think. Who knows? But Okay, so to start, I have the Keeper from Benabel Wen's Spirit Keepers Tarot. And they don't all come with disclaimers, but this one I'm going to show 2 other cards. So this is Spirit and Petition of Spirit. And when I first got this deck and was flipping through, I had intentionally not done a bunch of walkthroughs. So I didn't know that there were 3 Fools. So she has the Keeper, the Initiate, and the Seeker. So Spirit in Search of Science and Spirit in Search of Experience. So anyway, this one immediately came to mind because when I flipped through this deck, and this I think was the first Fool, like would have been right on top, and I just was just in love with it right away. So this is my Fool.
It's beautiful. Okay, so my Fool, and let me just sugar things a wee bit about. By the way, hi to Richie, and Robin has said Happy World Tarot Day. Happy World Tarot Day to you also, Robin, and to
Oh,
everyone here. I
yay.
didn't realise it was World Tarot Day until about 4 p.m. today. I had to Google it to make sure someone wasn't just making it up, but it was right enough. So anyway, my favourite Fool comes from the Marielle deck. The reason that I love this Fool so much is because, well, I love I love a lot of the cards in this deck. Um, I just love the image. I love the fact that we see him. He's already jumped off the cliff. We see him kind of a mid-flight. I love the use of the monarch butterflies, the mask, the shoes. I love the kind of the reference to the caduceus with the Tigris and Euphrates, if I'm saying that right. And there's a lot of the cards in the Marielle deck where I've learned a lot from looking close up at them when I've been doing the study group, and this is one such card. So I didn't realize until I looked closely at this that now that I'm saying it, I actually can't see. Oh yeah, here we go. So if you look in the background very faintly, you can actually see the mountain that he's jumped off and that there's a
Oh, yeah.
waterfall behind him. That was a detail that I hadn't picked up on. So this is a deck that I feel that there's a lot like that, where there's these little details that you don't realize until they kind of come at you one at a time. So yeah, I love it. So that is my Fool card.
Okay, so then for my Magician, I have this one from Santa Muerte. And Magician there were probably 3 or 4 that took me a while. Most of the rest I kind of instantly like, oh, the first one I thought of because it would stand out in my head. The Magician I had a hard time with, but I ended up going with this one because the items on the table feel more personally just like specific and like ritualistic to me. So in particular, the blue flowers on the table, which you'll also see over the Hierophant in this deck. I have a blue tattoo flower, and so the symbolism for that means like that which is unattainable. So just like details like that made me go with this one because it's things I might have on my table that that I'm using for spell work or meditation or something like that. And it's also a nice little nod to my Mexican heritage. I love like beneath the tablecloth here too, you can see, the palmistry and, the will, right? So written in on the table, like thy will be done and things like that. Just little things that kind of made it more personal. So that is my Magician.
Lovely. I'm just trying to go through and highlight, like star all of the kind of our favourites that people are mentioning, so
Oh
I
yeah,
can
for
catch
sure.
them. So let me just go back then. So I think the first person that mentions their favourite Fool is Janine. She says, "Can't think of the deck. It's someone jumping off a cliff with a rainbow." So there we go. That that narrows it down. Thanks, Janine. Yeah, no, I'm not sure. I know that the Fool from Malamir's deck, Chakra Healing Tarot, has a rainbow on it, but I don't
Mhm.
know if they are jumping off a cliff.
I don't think they are,
So
and
let
I
me.
only know that because I looked through it. I almost chose one of hers
Right,
for I think the Hangman. I can't remember. The Hangman was another one that gave me pause, but
right,
I think the rainbow's like coming out of the person.
right. Okay. I'm not finding it quickly, so I won't take up more time with it. But um, yeah. Then I think it might have been Simon actually that said next. Yeah. So Simon's surprise, surprise, back to RWS. Um, the Phil from the RWS, such an iconic image. Yeah. Do you know, you're right. It's probably the image that a lot of kind of um, a lot of people that don't really aren't into tarot, don't know a lot about tarot. It's probably one of those images that even they'll kind of know because it's I feel as though it's used a lot in the media, the Fool from the RWS. Um, Sandra says, I actually really like the Fool from the RWS. I think it's the bright yellow, etc., that draws me to him. Jonathan said, and hi Jonathan, by the way, and I know there's quite a few people that have popped in, so I'll just hi, welcome everyone. John says, my favourite Fool is the one from the Cosmic Visions Tarot. That's not a deck that I have. So I can't like grab it and show it. I think we all know what the RWS Fool looks like, so I don't need to grab that and show that. So yeah, let me just see. That was as far as I got with highlighting my comments. Donna says, I love the Fool from Tarot of the Mystical Moments. Sandra, I also love the Fool from Forest of Enchantment. See, Kim says, this tag is fun, but would be very challenging for me. It would be difficult for me to narrow down to just one card from the majors.
It's usually me, but I don't know, for this, I just had most of them in mind already. I don't know if it's because I've thought about it a while, but yeah, now I want to like scan these and make them a deck.
Let's see. Jonathan's asking, is that the Fool from the Numinous Tarot?
Yeah, see, we just need clues and then we can play tarot trivia. Someone will know what it is.
Yeah. Ramon loves the Santa Muerte decks. That's in response to your Magician card. Oh, Janine says, yeah, Jonathan, you get a gold star for that. I actually have the Numinous, but again, it'll probably take me too long to find the Fool.
Nice work.
Okay,
Look at that.
my Magician is from the Afro Goddess Tarot by Andrea Furtick. I'll, everything about, but first of all, just generally about this deck, this is one of the most delicious kind of it feels really, what's the word, like just decadent, I think is the word. It's just such a nice deck. It's got rose petal cardstock at the front, and it's got it's
Oh, yeah.
like a laminated cardstock in the back, which actually makes the deck work well because it means that it glides a lot better than like say rose petal against rose petal. And yeah, the artwork is beautiful, and I love the use of color in this deck. Um, really like the magician in this. I think that it's beautiful. I like quite a simple magician. I like the four elements to be represented in magician cards. I'm saying that, and now I'm actually thinking, is our wands represented? I suppose there's kind of a wand here, and we could look at the lightning as being like fire. But
Kind of
yeah,
wondered like the plant, like if that could be like
mm,
a branch or something, but I don't know if that's what. Um,
yeah,
but yeah, the
but
lightning
yeah,
is cool coming in.
gorgeous. Yeah, I think, to be honest, I think this is meant to be the wand on the
Oh
table here,
yeah,
and she's holding the sword.
yeah.
But yeah, she's beautiful. Um, so yeah, back to you, Dion.
Oh right. I'm just like Don't mind me, everyone, like forgetting that I'm like part of this. It just feels like Thursday and I'm hanging out watching Chris. Um, so my high priestess, this is another one that kind of took me a while. I think it was like magician, high priestess, hanged man, and tower. I think were the four that took the longest. But anyway, so I have the HP from Silicon Way Shimmering Veil, and I just love this image so much. And I remember when I first saw this deck. Now, of course, it's only 3 cards in, so of course, it's not going to take long, and the whole thing's beautiful. But as soon as I saw this, I thought, oh, I really have to have that, and it was just on screen and having that feeling from it. And I think it's mostly because it's what I really picture when I think of that kind of energy. So maybe a little less formal looking than the RWS High Priestess. This figure could just be, out and about. And I really love, this just reminds me, this, orb or sphere just reminds me of like the grand design. And that kind of phrase kept popping up as I was picking my favorites. And so I think that's kind of a theme that goes through these. And then, of course, I love how, it's not really a crescent moon, but there's this bit around it that kind of gives it that vibe. So just kind
Yeah.
of moody and secretive. And that's my pick.
Oh, she's beautiful. I almost picked that as well. I had already picked my high priestess, and then I was going through Silla's deck to find other cards, which we'll come to.
Yeah.
And I thought, oh, should I switch it out? And then I thought, no, because well, you'll see why. So my pick for the high priestess is from the new choice Tarot de Marseille. Um, I one of the reasons that I love this deck in general is the use of color, and this is like potentially my favorite card from the deck. I think the way that he's captured, the way that he's used color in this card is, and it's a card that you don't normally think of being really colorful, but I think it's just stunning, absolutely beautiful, so vibrant. It's actually not showing up as vibrant on the screen as what it does in person. But yeah, I just love this. So I suppose La Papesse shares here. So she's the Popess, but this is my high priestess. Um, let me
Love all
just,
the flowy, drapey
yeah,
clothes in this
yeah, I
deck.
love it. And just the different colors on the dress and stuff. It's so cool. Um, Emmy says a deck of all full cards would be fun.
Yeah.
Simon says the magician would probably be from Lumina for him. Emmy says off the top of the brain, I love the magician from the Gentle Tarot. Jonathan, the magician that's popping into my mind is the Fyodor Pavlov Tarot.
See, it's a good exercise for you all without actually like looking at decks. See that one that you remember? That's what most of mine were. I was like, oh, it's that one. So
Yeah. Donna loves the magician from the Super Lunaris. Simon was loving your choice of High Priestess.
yeah,
Very excited.
that's the first I saw
Kim,
it was with Simon. So
yeah, yeah, same probably to be fair. Um, Loves both of the magician selections. They're a whole vibe in their own right. Yeah. The magician is one of my cards to look at in a new deck, says Sandra. Let's see. Here we go. High Priestess. Kristen says, I love the High Priestess from the Muse Tarot, which is weird because I can't connect to that deck for the life of me. It's interesting, isn't it? Because see that kind of a not that kind of a coldness and maybe not being able to connect as much. I kind of associate that energy in part with the High Priestess, just because like she's the second energy that the Fool comes across. At that point, she's guarding the Moon energy. So for me, she kind of represents this guardian that's saying to the Fool, look, you're not ready to go there yet. Do you know what I mean? So she's always kind of had that kind of a air of mystery for me. So it's interesting that you say that that deck you find it hard to connect with, but that is the one card that you really like. Do you know what I mean? There's anyway,
The original gatekeeper, right? She's
yeah. um, Kim says, I love the Super Lunaris Magician card too. It popped up last night in a client reading and it spoke so clearly to me. Oh, that's really nice. I love the High Priestess from the Light Seers is one of my faves, says Donna. Also love the one from the news. The Thoth High Priestess, says Tammy Pie.
trying to
Robin
think
says,
of.
you try to think of, what did you say?
Mm. I was trying to think of the Thoth High Priestess. I don't have any Thoth decks, but I've seen a lot of the images and studied some of it just like online, but it doesn't come to mind.
So the Thoth High Priestess looks to me like, so see the veil? The veil is like you can see the veil in a good bit of the card, and it kind of looks to me like she's just thrown the veil and we've caught the picture like mid veil flying
Yep.
across. Do you know what I
Yep.
mean? That's what it's, or as though it's like been hanging up and then it's
Or
fallen
like
down and we've
dropping.
just caught the picture as it's
Yeah.
dropping. That's what the High Priestess from the Thoth has always made me think of. Um,
Which is cool
Kristen
because then it
says,
says that like accessibility is there. It's just you have to kind of catch it at the right time. That's cool.
yeah, yeah, exactly. Kristen says, I love that card so much. I'm considering getting it tattooed on my arm. Um, Also, I think so Robin said when I did this tag, I had to pull out a bunch of decks and line up each card like a contestant in a Miss Universe competition. It was really hard. I couldn't do it just from memory. Yeah. Could you imagine pulling out all the each card from all of your decks now?
Nope. I certainly could. I'd have to take a week off work to do it that way.
Uh, let's see. Right, I think that's us caught up with the comments. Right, I think you're next, Deanne. We're on to the Empress, aren't we?
Okay. So I told Chris I was making a list in my phone probably over the last week, and then either last night into this morning or either this morning into this afternoon. I don't really remember when I started actually pulling the cards, but I almost forgot the Empress, which I think is just hilarious commentary on my life because, of course, I would. But here is my Empress, and this is from the Mons Tarot by Joanna Nelson. And I super love the this little, I don't know what it is, like an ant or something, which are not my favorite things in real life, but in cartoon form, I love them. Whatever little bug he is, super cute and like floating this little origami hat, boat, whatever down the stream. I just can't get over the cuteness. So this is my Empress. And I like that we have like all the nature, the cultivation. She's got the crown of stars. All of those kinds of things are present. And it brings the water, like the stream that we have in the RWS Empress card as well, though it's pretty hard to see in most like, early editions. But I bring that into readings a lot. So I like that this one is, it's kind of easier to see that. It makes it more kind of a main part of the card. But yeah, just the super cuteness plus all of the important pieces that I need in an Empress card.
It's so cute. I love the little ladybirds.
I know,
Ladybirds make me
so
think of my
so
niece
cute.
because she loves ladybirds.
Yeah, and when you showed that dress, that's why I thought about this card. I was like laughing because I remembered the little ladybugs in it.
Yeah, yeah, that's right. Um, for context, I was showing before we went live. I was showing Deanne pictures of my niece's preschool graduation photos. And you can just see she's got a wee ladybird dress on underneath her graduation gowns.
Cute.
But yeah, she's got a wee toy ladybird that she's had since she was about 1 or 2. So she just loves ladybirds. Anyway, um, let's see. Sandra says, I think my Empress would be from the Universal Celtic. Donna says Empress from the Tarot Grand Lux. And Simon says the Empress from the Druid Craft.
See?
My favourite Empress, like this was one of the ones I was most certain about, is from Silicon Way's oh gosh. Shimmering Veil. Wow. Silicon Way's Shimmering Veil. I love this Empress. I just think it's beautiful. I love oil paintings anyway, but I love this Empress. Um, it's just like I could hang this on my wall. This is like a picture I could just have for the sake of having the picture, never mind that it's an Empress card. Um, yeah, just love it. She's
Super,
gorgeous.
like, calming.
Yeah, and like I'm one of these people that reads the Empress as like I read it as like creation, creativity, nurturing, loving, that kind of a energy, that force that that produces and lets things grow and become abundant. So for me, this, I can get that from this. Um, Jonathan says, I'm going to have to do this tag, but being a Virgo, it's going to take me a year to pick my top 22 majors. Um, Debbie's home now, so is going to participate. We're only at the Empress card, Debbie, so you've not missed much, don't worry. Let's see, I love the Empress from the She-Wolf Tarot and the Stunning Tarot, says Kristen. Tammy Pie still love Druid Craft Empress, so agreeing with Simon on that one. And Beth has popped in. Hi Beth, how are you? So next we are on to the Emperor.
So, speaking of new choice, I took my Emperor from that deck because I thought I need an Emperor who is, capable, but also kind of chill and not like giving off angry, bossy vibes. And his boots are incredible. And, you know, those other two, mainstays that I need. Capable, but, kind of lean back, chill. It's not like angry about anything. Or, of course, I'm just putting these are just triggers that I'm putting onto the card. But, um, yeah, stylish, relaxed, has everything he needs. That's my
Has a
pick.
six-pack.
Right. This is the person I want, like, in charge of the boundaries.
Definitely. So
Bootsy.
let's
Yes, Robin.
Beth has said, I like the Empress from the Fairy Tarot. She's quite fierce. My favourite Emperor is from Poppy Palin's Everyday Enchantment. The reason that I love this, so when I was trying to think of an Emperor, my Emperors need to be warm and friendly. Now, don't get me wrong, in contrast to that creativity energy of the Empress, I read the Emperor as kind of a bringing things into order, bringing structure to things. But it's important for me that an Emperor doesn't look like a dick, basically, that doesn't have that, because it's easy to put that vibe onto them. So this guy, he's a businessman. You can see that he's, there's lots getting done. Do you know what I mean? He definitely has an Emperor vibe about him, but he looks friendly. His body language, he's extending his hand to shake someone's hand. This is a warm Emperor, and this is like my ideal Emperor.
I love the little picture in the back too, like hanging on his wall, like the family picture back there. Do you know what I mean? Because
Yeah,
it's
he's
like
got his
he's like
family.
like the protection of it and everything. I love that.
Yeah, it's beautiful, isn't it? Robin Bootsy
Yeah.
might be the Emperor's nickname. Oh, look, Donna says Emperor from the Everyday Enchantment. I think that was
Yeah.
what it was. That was before I pulled it, wasn't it? I like the Emperor and the Wild Unknown. Funnily enough, oh gosh, Chien, am I saying that right? If I'm not, then apologies. But Chien, that was an Emperor that I did pull out as a perspective. But I
Thought
thought,
about that
no,
one
I
too.
prefer this. The tree.
Yeah.
Um, that's
I was
fine.
like, because then I would need both trees because I love that so much. And so no, the same
Yeah.
thing happened to me.
Yeah, that same. And I was also thinking about the sun and the moon from the Marielle, but I was like, they would need to come as a pair. Do you know what I mean? They're two cards that need to come as a pair. Um, Jonathan, love the Emperor from Superlunaris. Um, I always see the Emperor as a stubborn old coot, much like myself. He comes up in a lot of my readings, says Robin. Uh, Superlunaris is a close second for Donna. Emperor from Sasarai Beetle is my favourite, says Beth. I mean, I don't necessarily like him as a person, but he's got the vibe for me. Um, let's see. True Black has a beautiful Emperor, says Tammy Pie.
Oh, stay tuned.
Oh, okay. Beth is helping me. So Cheyenne is how Cheyenne's name is pronounced. Thank you, Beth. And then Cheyenne is also helping me. Thank you very much. Um, Much appreciated. Okay, shall we move on?
Okay, this is super out of print, but the creator is working on a new updated version. But this is my Hierophant from Jessica Bott's Idiosyncradeck. And it's amazing. I love the idea that you can just go up to this tree of knowledge and, um, take what you want from it. It's that kind of welcoming vibe to me. Doesn't have to be another person involved, um, telling you what to do, teaching you things. Those aren't bad things. I've had amazing teachers, mentors, everything like that. I'm not knocking that, but just this peaceful, cloudy day, which is something I love. This kind of vibe, just going up and, taking what you need from this tree. That's my ideal Hierophant. Had to have it. And it's got toadstools. Yes, Robin.
um, Beautiful. Sorry, I'm just going through and starting things. My favorite, so mine's isn't actually called the Hierophant, but it's the wise one from Anatolian's. Oh God, my memory these days is terrible.
Abyss.
Tarot of the Abyss, yeah, that's it. Um, so for me, um, as someone who's not religious anymore, it's important for me that, well, is it important? No, because I can still read with cards like that. But it's nice for me when a card
Yeah.
doesn't necessarily have that religious vibe to it. Um, the For me, the Hierophant or card 5 is a teacher. Do you know what I mean? And here we see, someone that they're sitting around the campfire. The wise one is telling stories. The younger ones are learning from their elder. So you're getting that kind of a tradition feel from it. You're getting the learning, the teaching, learning how it's been done before, how other people have done it. You also kind of, if you want to read it as a, with those religious vibes, so like the the ways of your people and all of that kind of a thing. I suppose you could read that from it. It just has so much, but it's just such a warm and friendly version of what can sometimes be quite a turn offy card for people, I guess. So this is a really nice Hierophant slash the Wise One card for me.
Yeah, I love it.
Simon says the teacher from the Gaian Tarot. Beth, Hierophant from Super Lunaris. Super Lunaris is really popular tonight. Lots of
It
people
really
are saying
is.
Super Lunaris.
This is a deck I don't have, which
Yeah, same.
I'm not
Neither do
saying
I.
anything, but
Kristen says the Hierophant from Junasa Jouse. Is that how you say that? Junasa Jouse?
I think so.
Jonathan, the Hierophant from Tarot of the Witch's Garden. Hierophant from the Gaian Tarot, says Donna. Emperor and the Junasa Jouse is amazing, says Tammy Pie. Hierophant from Tarot of the She. Okay. Yeah, Simon says such a great card it is, isn't it? Let's see. Yeah, Kim agrees with the Guy in Tarot's teacher card.
Oh, yes, there's a couple front runners.
Robin says Hierophant card in a Madonna deck would be Papa Don't Preach. Okay, so it's pronounced with a Y, so Yona Yows.
Oh, I don't even know these things. I just tell you it's right. It's fine.
Yona or Yunasa or Yona Yows.
Oh, she corrected it down below.
Oh, okay. Okay. Oh yeah. Yunasa Yows. Okay, cool. So Beth get two copies of the Super Lunaris. Love that deck. Tammy Pie Hierophant from the Paulina Tarot,
Oh, that one in a while.
and Kristen loves the Super Lunaris too. Lots of love for the Super Lunaris. I'm gonna have to check it out because it's not really a deck that's ever been in my sphere of consciousness, if I'm honest. Okay, shall we move on?
Yeah. Okay, so I don't know why I'm just triple checking that I have things in order. Like I can't count or something. But here we have the Lovers from Tarot of the Holy Spectrum. And it's a pretty minimalistic card, obviously, but it just really, like many of the cards in this deck, are really unique and powerful. This one just really got me in the moment. It's to me, it's saying, choosing yourself and then choosing the best for yourself. It's not necessarily the same person, but I view it kind of like as this mirror, time portal, so on and so forth. And I read a few of the cards in this deck, like one side of the veil and the other, the physical and spirit side. And a big thing for me is aligning with my higher self, right? So it's like, just what's my next best action? So, and that's what this says to me. There's still that choice there. And even though there's not a third, like a third person in a Marseille style or a third figure, like we have the angel and the RWS, there are the two people, and then this line, this mirror, this portal, whatever it is for you. There's still like this kind of triad. So it works for me on many levels, even though it's this pretty simple. And I also like that there's like a light and a shadow side is sort of how I read that. So this is the one that came to mind for me. And again, can read all of the, the traditional things into it about, making the choice. And for me, this card says, again, making the best choice for yourself and not letting like outside influence in is what I mean to say.
Yeah, choosing yourself over the outside influences type thing. Brilliant. My favourite Lovers card is from the original version of the Zany Tarot. I wanted to pick a Lovers card that had two guys on it. Well, for obvious reasons. But yeah, and this is it's not just that it's two guys. They're at a Pride March, which is all about love. I suppose the only thing if you strictly read the Lover's card as being about choice and not anything to do with love, then this might be quite a difficult card to read with. Um, for me, I see it as being about both things, to be
Mm-hmm.
honest.
Mm-hmm.
It's about when the fool, falls in love with, or is discovers his sexual urges and his, those urges towards something other than his family, and he's got to choose between his family and this lover. So why does the focus then have to be on the choice element and not on the love element? Do you know what I mean? To me,
Right.
it can be both. So
Yep.
yeah. Anyway, this is my lover's card, and yeah, she's a beauty.
Perfect. Plus, it's Pride Month Eve, being
Yeah,
the month before Pride.
true, true it is.
We'll kick it off today.
um, Lovers from Darkness of Light says Donna. Simon says Lovers from the Everyday Enchantment. Tammy Pie, Lovers from the Light Seers, is my favourite for the artwork. Yeah, the Light Seers Lovers is beautiful as well. Lovers from the Forest of Enchantment for Sandra. Kim agrees with the Light Seers Lovers. The Anna Kay Lovers for Beth. Um, Robin says, Chris, the choice is whether to, oh gosh, ride on your lover's shoulders or have him ride on yours. Well, there you go. There we go. That's a nice spin on it. V likes lovers cards with animals generally. And I love the Hoodoo Tarot Lovers courting card. Nice. Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, that was Kim that said that.
Oh,
I've
yeah.
I've read that as though it was V that said both. So V said I like lovers cards with animals generally, and then Kim from Abundant Life Tarot said, "Oh, and I love the Hoodoo Tarot Lovers." Um, Beautiful. Okay, next one, the Chariot.
Okay. So my chariot is from the Marielle, and this is because, um, well, I love the image, but also Marie White does a beautiful job of explaining what I reference a handful of times. Something I think first learned on Elle at Sacred Seed at her channel about the seven in tarot being like being the whole big thing. The seven, the chariot is tarot, and then everything else kind of falls under that as an umbrella. And so Marie White breaks that down in the book, and it's about um, so the four wolves here is a four, and then the three like sections of the body, the light of the mind, this like flower heart chakra bit, and then the dark lower part of the body representing the earth. Um, and that, the three and the four being equaling seven. And then she also breaks down in the description about the majors being three sets of seven. And then she splits up the minors as 40 cards and the courts being about the spirit and the minors being about the body, and then tying it all back to this, which is inspired by Odin and the ravens and wolves. I think Odin and the wolves and ravens. Anyway, it's a big whole thing, and just go to your Marielle guidebook and read about it. But it's she talks about, like, in more traditional images of the chariot, that it's made up of the four angel wings and the four heads with the four faces each, and then the wheels are the elements, and like this whole thing. So it's really beautifully written in here about how the construct of the chariot actually is symbolic of, again, the entire tarot and therefore of life. And so that's my big long ramble about why this is the best chariot ever.
It is a beautiful chariot card. Pamela says the guy in tarot lovers. Simon loves the chariot from the Earth Magic Tarot. Jonathan, lovers that popped into his head is from the Robin Wood Tarot. Sandra loves the chariot from the Mons Tarot.
Oh, I love Monstero. I know, that's a cute one, yeah.
Yeah. Beth says my favourite chariot card is from an indie deck called Spark Tarot. No one knows this deck, I don't think.
Oh.
Chariot from the Everyday Witch is what popped up for me, says Jonathan. Donna also loves the Marielle. V. Kestrel loved the chariot from the Urban Tarot. Tammy Pie, I love the chariot from the Raziel Tarot by Robert M. Place and Rachel Pollock. It describes the vision of Jacob. And the Tarot of the Abyss chariot for Donna. My chariot card comes from Tarot of the She. The reason I love so I love the the story of Plato's chariot. You know, the idea of the chariot being a symbol of the soul, and you've got the white horse and the black horse basically representing different aspects of the self. And the job of the charioteer is to manage both of those horses, kind of like it's our job to manage ourselves and our different, different parts of us pull us in different directions, and we basically need to use our strength of mind, our free will, our knowledge, all of that stuff to make a decision basically and drive ourselves forward, keep ourselves moving forward. So like if one half of you is like, I really want that cake from the fridge, and the other half of you is like, oh right, but Chris, you're trying to lose £2 this week. And then, the brain in the middle is the one that's going, right, okay, well, this is what we're going to do. Do you know what I mean?
Just eat half of
So,
it.
yeah. I've been good this week. There's been no cake. Um, So yeah, I just the reason I love this version of it is because it's basically one horse and one half of it's black and one half of it's white, and like why not? That's the point. Do you know what I mean? They both represents parts of the self. So why should it not be one horse that's part black and part white? I just think that that's an absolutely stunning representation of the chariot and really meaningful for me. So that was why I picked this one.
Sorry, I didn't mean to derail you about the cake there, but
That's okay. Don't worry. Let's see. So, how far did I get actually? Robert in Place, Tarot of the Abyss. Love Tarot of the She, says Sandra. That is another of my favourites, says Jonathan. Robin loves the Everyday Witch. Kim says integration, love this association with the chariot. I wonder if anyone's ever done a chariot on a pogo stick, says Robin. They're pretty hard to control, I guess. Where does the dual aspect come in though? I suppose that's quite a similar kind of a concept to, I think, is it the Everyday Enchantment that has them on a skateboard? Or
just having
something
to
like that.
balance your body upright,
Yeah,
you have to use
yeah.
both. That's
Robin,
funny.
only you would think you have a fucking pogo stick. Oh, love it. Okay, shall we move on to? So, are you strength next, or are you justice next? Just out of interest.
I am strength, but it's
Mhm.
at an 11, but I'm using it as my 8.
Oh, right. Okay, fair enough. Well, both of my decks were consistent, and that strength was at 8, and justice just happened to be at 11.
Oh, nice.
Um,
Okay.
so no, that's fine.
Okay, so I have strength from the Way Home Tarot. And I had a lot of these majors pop in my head, but this one, just to give a little shout out to that deck, but this is definitely my favorite strength. And with Kim talking about integration and Chris talking about that with the chariot, this one really is amazing to me because when it really comes down to it, it's all internal. It's not, I mean, I get totally the symbolism in the Rider-Waite-Smith. But what's most helpful to me, I think, is visualizing, overcoming things and earning that strength controlling power and things like that. It's all internal, and it helps me to really kind of sit in that and be meditative about it. So this image really helps. We have gorgeous snake here bringing in this kundalini energy type of thing, and so it brings in all of that enlightenment and being super in tune. We have lemniscate here in the center of it, so it's interesting because we have that typically um, over the lion's head. Yeah, I think. Anyway, it's in there
Over the
somewhere.
maiden's head, I think.
Is it? I can't even remember. I
In
trust you.
Smithwaite, yeah.
Yeah. So, but yeah, and then with
Oh,
the flowers here, just that we grow from those things that challenge us, and that if we can get into this really internal space and work from the inside out in order to become stronger. This is what image comes to mind for me.
oh. Yeah, so our in the Smithwaite, it's over the
Oh yeah.
maiden's head, but then you've got the lemniscate with the belt, connecting the person to the line as
Oh,
well. Although it's not illustrated that way in this kind of a iteration of it, but I think the belt is supposed to connect her to the line in a lemniscate as well. But yeah, the one you're meaning is over her head.
yeah.
Um, so yeah, my strength card comes from Tarot of the Abyss. Um, Beautiful card. I just love the imagery of it. Um, I I've got a bit of a soft spot for people that can draw things like animals is one thing, and particularly like lions and tigers. If someone can do a really good representation of like a lion or a tiger, then it's for me. Things like water as well. I love like decks that depict water like really beautifully. But yeah, the strength card from this, I just love how they're both in sync. So for me, like however you interpret it, the strength. It's a bit of a journey. You're getting yourself from the point where you know they maybe aren't quite. You don't have control over the animal to a point where you do have control over them. And I've just put the Smithwaite one away, but in the Smithwaite one and in a lot of them, you see the point where they're kind of a getting there with it, but they're still kind of a holding the mouth, or they're still kind of a trying to get control of the animal. Whereas in this one, they're both looking forwards. They're very much on the same page. It's just one hand that's on that lion's face, so you can see the trust in the card. And yeah, I just really like it.
This one always makes me think that she's like transferring the calm energy to the lion, and
Yeah.
his eyes are like ready at a moment's notice, like if anything needs to go down. But that's what I always think of, that just she's just transferring that calm.
Yeah. Um, let's see. Uh, Beth says the Spark Tarot shows the chariot as a woman braiding her hair. Regarding integration. Oops, strength. I nearly put you in time out there, Donna. How rude of me. Strength from the Crow Tarot, says Donna. This Gentle Tarot for strength, I take it, Tammy Pie. Um, Sandra, strength is a gain from Forest of Enchantment. B's favourite strength is from the Starman Tarot, the David Bowie Tarot. Very nice. I feel like Forest of Enchantment was custom designed especially for you, says Robin to Sandra.
Yeah.
um, let's see. Helicopter has a tiger in strength,
She
says
put down
Tammy Pie.
below the Hesychos tarot.
Oh,
It spell checked her to
is it?
helicopter.
Oh, okay. I was a wee bit confused, but I wasn't as there probably is a helicopter tarot somewhere out
Right?
there.
With a tiger.
Um, Beth says I like Dark Days tarot strength or Tarot of Witch's Garden strength. Um, Emmy is Chariot and Home, but we'll watch this later. Uh, oh gosh, are we 1 hour in? We actually are. We're just after 10 o'clock. Robin's right. God, maybe I should speed it up. Right, here we go. Speed version. Um, that one from Abyss reminds me of one of my dogs now passed. It was a big gentle giant. Oh,
Oh yeah, it does have
um,
that that vibe.
most beautiful water ever drawn is in the anime film Garden of Worlds, says Pamela. Beth says to you, Deanne, the Abyss Lion looks ready to defend. Okay, right. Oh, you're next, aren't you? You're up with the Hermit card.
So I went total iconic with the CS tarot and chose my hermit. I figured not that I had to do one RWS, but I thought there are several beautiful hermit cards. I feel like the hermit is one's kind of easy to make kind of cool and unique for some reason. There's a lot you can do with like small light symbolism. So instead of torching myself over choosing a hermit, I went this route because this is just really iconic for me. When I think of when I started everything out with RWS, this image is just, cemented. And I mean, they all are at this point, but this makes me think of like junior high days when I started all this. So that's my beautiful hermit from the CS Tarot.
Nice. And my favorite hermit comes from Scylla Conway's Shimmering Veil Tarot.
Nice.
Um, there's something about the white cloak that really appeals to me. And I love the fact that we can see his cave as well. Um, I mean, you can even like there's a castle up there, so he's come down from the castle, and he's retreating into his cave. Uh, yeah, it's a beautiful hermit. Um, let's see. So, Hermit from the Crow Tarot says Beth. The Hermit from Tarot of Magical Forests says Debbie. Hermit from Super Lunaris says Jonathan. I like Tarot for All Ages Hermit. It's a tiny child atop a mountain, says Robin. Um, let's see. And Liz says the Hermit and the Anarchy. The Wild Unknown Turtle is cool as well. Yeah, that was a close runner up for me for the Hermit card, Tammy Pie. Deanne, Wheel of Fortune.
I have, speaking of the wild unknown, that is my
Oh,
wheel. So I do have, some wheels are, kind of cute, interesting, unique, whatever. But this one has a crescent moon, so totally winning already. And the starry night sky and the actual, the beautiful mess on the wheel. I thought is really appropriate. And this is, again, one that came to mind um, right away. So I've seen another similar one, and I can't ever remember what the deck is called. It's one I don't have. It might be like the Green Wheel or Green Witch Tarot or something like that has a really cool Wheel of Fortune, and it looks similar to this with things just kind of a mess, but really beautiful.
Yeah, that is. It's lovely. That was one that I looked at as well. But I chose my Wheel of Fortune from the Raven's Prophecy Tarot. For me, the Wheel of Fortune is about the nature of chaos, and how there's some things in the world that we just don't have any control over. And for me, the message a lot of the time that the Wheel of Fortune is trying to convey personally is control the controllables, but don't waste your energy trying to control things that you just don't have any control over, you know. And there's lots of things that you can then take from that. So, for example, be grateful for the things that you've got. You know, if you're in a good position, be grateful for that and try and, plan for when you're maybe not in such a good position, and all that kind of a thing. But the whole control the controllables thing, um, like that we have the seasons being represented here in this card, and that is one thing that we don't have any control over. We can't control when it's night or day, summer, winter, autumn, etc. Like that's just it just is. um so we need to kind of make decisions around that, and that to me is, that's one of the things that comes with the Wheel of Fortune. um
Yes.
and also the idea of, sometimes you're at the top of the wheel, sometimes you're being crushed at the bottom. And it's kind of a like, you see it reflected in like nature and plants and stuff, just like as the way they come and go with the seasons and stuff. So yeah, I really like this card. Um, Donna Superlunaris Hermit for me. Wheel of Fortune from the Green Witch, says Beth.
That might
Um,
I don't know.
what did you say there, Deanne? Sorry.
That might be the one I'm thinking of that's kind of similar to this. I know I've seen it in a walkthrough, but it was years ago.
Right. The Wheel from the Witch's Wisdom, says Donna. Wheel of Fortune from the Slavic legends is beautiful, weaving the threads of fate. The Tarot of Delphi, the Norns, says Tammy Pie. Love the Fool from the Tabula Mundi, says Janine. I think Janine might be watching this back from the start. Uh, what deck has a dream catcher as the Wheel of Fortune, says Jonathan. I'm blanking.
More tarot trivia. Someone will know.
um, for those who know or use TDM, I love the Tarot Nui Wheel of Fortune. Is it Medicine Woman, says Tammy Pie, or Tarot Noir? Tarot Noir, says Liz,
Yeah.
rather than Nui. Well, Nui means night and Noir means black, so um, okay. So, Deanne, Justice?
So this one is for shallow reasons, purely because this is my wifey card. I chose Justice from Bianco Nero. Um, her belt is real cool. I like her drapey dress. She has the sword and the scales, and I do like that she's on the move, right? There's some action and flow there, and I feel like she's going to create justice.
Yeah, lovely. My favourite Justice card comes from the Brady Tarot. Um, I love this because it has a turkey vulture on it, firstly, and when you read it's Rachel Pollock that wrote the guidebook for this deck, and I learned a lot from what she says about the turkey vulture. So she brings attention to the fact that, well, vultures in general, they can process a lot of kind of a disease. They get a bit of a bad rep, but they can process that like disease and like botulism and stuff like that and make it clean. So they can take stuff that's you know that's not good. Not express myself very well. They can take stuff that's not clean and they can purify it. Apparently, vulture feces is so clean that if you were to put your hands through it, they would come out cleaner than what they went in. Random fact.
That's amazing.
Um, but it's also got like on the scales. I don't know if you can see it well, but it's got an egg, and this is a turkey vulture skull. So it's the idea of like kind of a life and death, beginning, end, all of that kind of a thing. And this is another deck that's got the beautiful decadent rose petal
Oh yeah.
finish. Funnily enough, as well, they've both got, see this deck and the Afro Goddess Tarot, they've both got this brush gold edging. So they have.
Oh yeah.
Um, so yeah, that's nice as well. But that's definitely my pick for Justice. Um, let's see, Super Lunaris special print of Ruth Bader, uh, Ruth Bader Ginsburg as Justice. Ah, okay, nice. Um, Justice in the Heimdall Tarot for me, says Cheyenne. Uh, yeah, Purifiers of Nature. That's what that's what I was trying to get at, Tammy. Definitely. So the Hanged Man or the Hanged One.
So I have this one from the Moonlight Tarot, and this, like I said in the beginning, was one that was difficult for me to land on, but this one kind of was like resurfacing to my brain, and then it was what I thought it was when I cracked it open and went through. So throughout this deck, not just in the Hanged Man, but in several figures, if not all, the faces are either like turned away or covered with this red cross. And there's a name for this and I never remember it. It might be like Scandinavian or something. But the whole idea is, having the eyes covered so that all the other senses are heightened, and that, you are relying on intuition and kind of fine tuning that. And I think that's just the epitome of this card, kind of, tapping out enough that you're not getting swept away in whatever's going on, voluntarily changing perspective and kind of taking time out away from the chaos. So that is my Hanged Man.
Nice. My favourite Hanged Man is Tarot of the Abyss. I love a good reference to Odin and a Hanged Man. And here we have Hugin and Munin, the Odin's
Yeah.
ravens, thought in memory. I also love the fact that we're seeing it from the Hanged Man's point of view. I think that that's brilliant. So yeah, this is definitely my favourite, or one of my favourites for the Hanged Man.
That's awesome.
Uh, Death.
So my death card is from the Lost Forest. And you will see there's a figure here, and then there's a figure here kind of over in the light. And
Yep.
so again, it's if we're talking literal death, this could be someone waiting for you on the other side. But kind of back to the Lover's card that I chose from Tarot of the Holy Spectrum. For me, this is, because someone's not going to die every time the death card comes up, right? So it can be read in that literal sense, but in a day-to-day reading, when it's more about that transformation and kind of choosing to get yourself together. I actually explained to a friend probably 10 years ago, way before I had this deck, that I felt like I was going through a process of, walking through a forest and trying to find my real self on this other path. Like it was a really strange and specific thing that I thought was, a good way to explain what I was going through. And then when I saw this card, of course, really kind of took my breath away. So I like the whole dark and light aspect of it, and the fact that it just resonated to the core.
Beautiful. My favorite. I'm a sucker for the Marseille Death, or card 13, I suppose, since it doesn't have a title. And I've picked Ross's new choice, Tarot de Marseille Death. Um, yeah, I just like the way that it's depicted. It is quite morbid, but it's one that sort of I've always kind of been drawn towards.
I stopped and looked at that when I was flipping through for my Emperor earlier.
Oh yeah. Liz, the Hanged Man and the Guild Tarot. He looks like a really out there kind of mystic. Donna likes the Hanged Man from Ethereal Visions because he's holding the ribbon around his ankle. Death from Everyday Enchantment for Donna. Death from Lightseers for Debbie. Death from the Thoth is a stunning card, says Cheyenne. And the Thoth Death card was the first one that made me understand it was about transformation to something better, says V. Tammy Pie's got to go. We'll definitely do a new VR. Bye, Tammy Pie. Okay. Next one.
Okay,
Temperance.
so my next one is Temperance from True Black. And she's super sexy and cool, obviously, but the it's just striking. And this is the first one that came to mind. And we have all of this typical, though shown in a different way. The white orb in the red hand, the red orb in the white hand, and she's between a field of flowers and a field of swords. And the book is really interesting. It talks about, we can have both of these things. We can have, um, swords aren't bad, but if that's all we had, then it would be bad kind of thing, right? So this typical, this idea of like alchemizing the two sides of things. I think the guidebook says something about, money isn't evil, but the greed that spreads out and hurts others is Max waving at me. That's what the problem is. So it's talking about these, as long as our desires don't take over in the one way and hurt others, then we can have it all. And it's just little ways that it was described really stuck with me as well.
Yeah, beautiful. My temperance card is from the Marielle. I said earlier on how I'm a sucker for depictions of water and also depictions of large cats, and this
Yeah.
has everything. So yeah, I love this card. It's something different than the person pouring the two cups, but it still has that because the fire, the tiger represents the fire, and then we've obviously got the water, and cats typically tend to hate water, or that's an association that we have with them. Um, so the idea of the cat and water to me is like the fire and water being put together. It's the two opposing elements, and you're making something new out of them. So I think that it's a really clever and also a really beautiful representation of temperance. Um, Liz also likes the death card from the Light Seers. Runner-up death cards are the Light Seers and the Robin Wood, says Donna. Temperance from Golden Art Nouveau, just the sheer beauty of it. Jonathan says Death from the Tarot of the Witch's Garden. B. Kestrel, Love Temperance. Art from the Urban Tarot. Angelica's here, hi. Says, hi everyone, hi Chris, Deanne, and everyone in chat. Okay, next on to our devil cards.
So I had a couple in mind for this, but I chose the devil from the Chicoli Tarot, and really simply because like that creature totally creeps me out, and I don't like its gross yellow eyes or anything about it. I mean, we're not supposed to. Though, some images are tempting and like that's the whole thing. This one just flat out not tempting at all. But I chose it because oftentimes when we are facing that devil temptation, whatever it is that we need to work on, it doesn't feel most times like being chained. It feels more like being held. And that's why it's hard to break it. And this also looks very much like when Hannibal Lecter carries Clarice out of, spoiler alert, when he carries her out of the pen. to save her life, and
Yeah.
she's just hanging there lifeless. And that also speaks to this devil card, I think, when he's like,
Wow.
you know, if you really loved me, would you ever say stop? You know, this whole thing. Never in a million years.
Have you read the books?
Yeah.
All right, okay. So you know that the Hannibal book ends differently than the film?
Yeah.
Right, okay, that's fine. Um, yeah, oh, I love a good Hannibal Lecter reference, by the way.
Yeah.
That's like my love language. Um, my devil, on the other hand, is not gross at all. I've gone the opposite way with my devil card. My devil is a handsome devil, quite literally. Yeah, he's beautiful. He's everything the devil's meant to be. He's tempting. Um, we have the reference to kind of the being held, being trapped, being held by the strings. But you see how it's quite almost quite ethereal.
Oh, yeah.
You're not quite sure if it's real. Um, So yeah, and I also just love the fact that the hair is kind of a all around, his hair appears to be kind of a making this kind of a swirly mass of stuff,
Yeah.
which is random, but I'm there for it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll just leave him on the screen for everyone to enjoy for a moment whilst I check the comments.
Thanks, Chris.
Uh, uh, 11 the card. Oh, replacement Visconti Sforza Devil from the Del Negro version, um, which I do have, says Donna, or the second Meneghello version, which I don't have. So Visconti Sforza Devil there. I forget the one with the devil is a mirror. Okay, I'm not sure what that is. Um, have you watched the Hannibal TV series? Yeah, I have. I've seen it, and I enjoyed it. It rubs the lotion on its skin or else it gets the hose again. Um, that devil is very attractive, Chris, says Liz. The Marshmallow Marseille, that is funny you say that because there may be a Marshmallow Marseille card coming up
I
if we
thought
can
about
actually
that one.
get to it, if we have enough time. Um, but yeah, it isn't menacing, but it tickles me because the figures under the devil are two smaller devils who are tugging on him from both sides, says Janine. Okay, your favorite tower?
So this one was hard, but when I came in was looking for something else, I saw the majestic earth and I thought, you know what? I bet the tower in there is amazing. And it was. So that's what we have. And this is, truly terrifying looking to me. So, but again, kind of like the wheel is, the one I chose is has that beautiful mess vibe going on. Everything in the majestic earth is super gorgeous. And so it gives again like this kind of grand design, like this is happening for some reason, like it must be, right? Like there must be something to come out of this that's gonna allow us to rebuild, better, stronger, all of that. And this has to fall away. So there is that, like looking back at the big picture, like, okay, there's beauty to come. But this, to me really felt like that moment of upheaval and just everything falling down.
Yeah, nice. The tower was quite a difficult one for me. There's like quite a lot of kind of a meaning packed into the tower, and there's quite a lot of representations of it that I love. Tarot of the She was one contender. I'm sure Tarot of the She has the mask being blasted off the face and broken into bits, which a lot of the times our ego and our tower is about like these representations of ourselves that we build up and stuff, and we become quite attached to them. But the tower that I've gone with is from Malamir's deck, the Chakra Healing Tarot. And the reason that I love this so much, at first glance, it seems like quite a, just like your standard kind of a traditional tower. But see, when you look up close behind, so you see the crack in the tower, but behind the crack, you actually see this kind of a peaceful blue, beautiful white, cloudy sky. So you kind of get the impression that once it's over and done with, once you kind of let down those walls, there is, there is light at the end of the tunnel type thing. But it's nonetheless, it's going to be a painful process. And you see that in the person here. They're obviously kind of going through something. But it's just that reference to there kind of being a positive kind of a side to this, or like a positive outcome that can be had, that I think is quite nice.
That's a really good one.
Yeah. Donna, the Tower from the Crystal Skull Tarot. Tower from El Goliath, says V. The Devil from the Unifying Consciousness Tarot, and the Wizard's Tarot, the out of production version, says Jonathan. Tower from Tarot of Mystical Moments is powerful, says Debbie. I'm so envious of you having that majestic earth deck. It's so beautiful, says Liz.
Gorgeous. I got it kind of on a, not in the first push of everything, but when they came out and emailed with like, hey, we're having a second sale because boxes are damaged or whatever. And so I was lucky enough to grab it in that brief little window a couple years ago.
Yeah, nice. One of my favorite tower cards is from the Everyday Witch, says Beth. Love the tower card from the Uncommon Tarot, says Cheyenne. Yes, the tower from the Monsoon Tarot, says Jonathan. Tower from Serpent Fire is powerful, says Beth. Damage that's not damage at all. Lucky Duck, says Liz. Loving the Tarot of Oneness tower, is that? The tower from the Tarot of Oneness. Love the perspective of being one of the people fallen. Oh, very nice, yeah. Okay, on to the star.
So I actually have another RWS. This is a Winter Weight 2018. And I love this because this is another one. There are a ton of gorgeous star cards, of course, but I went with this one because it reminds me of Lorelai from the Gilmore Girls and how she is super giddy at the first snow. And she talks about how snow is so magical and everything in the world is right on the day of the first snow. And it just sets the tone for like the entire winter season. And so this, girl with black hair, I'm just pretending is Lorelai, and it's snowing, and that's going to light the way and lead her, away from her tower moment, into all of the magic that the star brings.
Nice. My star is from the Shimmering Veil. Again, I just think this depiction of it's beautiful. Yeah, I don't really know what else to say about it other than just the sheer beauty of it. I just think Scylla is just such beautiful artwork. But just for art in its own right, I think that about a lot of her kind of depictions, like a lot of her cards, I would just love to have as a painting, So yeah, she's stunning.
It's all really powerful, but still soft. It's like, because a lot of times when I say it's powerful art, it's maybe like sharper or more dynamic. Not more dynamic, I don't know the right words, but just, I don't know. It's just gorgeous. Looks like you could crawl in it. And even like the darker ones, you still want to like go inside of it. Like that's what it feels like to me.
Yeah. Okay. So the star from the Dark Mansion, says Debbie. Donna, that's how Donna got the Majestic Earth too. See star card from Tarot of the Owls. Kim says, love that association of the Gilmore Girls to the star card. Okay.
I mean, plus they live in
Um,
Stars Hollow, so it's it's this whole thing. Okay,
Are you
so
good to keep going, Deanne? Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So I have the moon is another card I love. I could have made this really difficult on myself, but this is the one that came into my mind. And then it was funny because Chris made the cover photo for today's live, like the moon over water. So for me, because we have this reflection there, there's still a pathway. And also for me, the moon, I tend to put a lot of bias on it, and I always feel really empowered when the moon card comes up and not so much cloudy. It's like I know how to find my way in that kind of light, and so it's just kind of like a breath of fresh air. It's just calm and relaxing, and I thought this is a good one to show that because of there aren't the other figures or animals. It's just this like open water, and to me, this means like everything is becoming clear. And this is from, I'm sorry, Anima Mundi, by the way.
That's beautiful.
Gorgeous. Simple,
I think
pretty.
you might have sent me that card with something.
Oh, I might have. I had a duplicate of this because I was trying to get a certain edition for Alex. And then I bought one that I thought was the other edition and it wasn't. And so then I singled it out for like Alleyman trades. And I probably did send you a couple. I might have sent you like one that has a snake or something on it as well.
Yeah, yeah, you did. Yeah.
Love that deck.
Um, yeah, it's nice. Um, so Star from the Tarot Grand Lux popped into my head first is Donna. Beth says the moon from the Anna Kay and the Green Witch, and Donna says moon from Llewellyn Tarot. Um, okay. My moon is from the Marshmallow Marseille. Um, there's something to do with the colour on this.
So pretty.
Um,
Yeah.
it's beautiful, and Mendy's deck is the same. It's based on the deck that this is based on, and it has this beautiful color representation in the moon card. I just think that it's beautiful. So yeah, just purely for and I suppose I mean, it does look stunning there, but see when you line it up with the other Marshmallow Marseille cards, the moon really stands out. So it does. So that's why this is my favorite moon card.
I remember flipping through it. Yeah, I had seen it online, but when I was flipping through it myself, it really did. It's breathtaking. It's really gorgeous.
Yeah, yeah, it's beautiful.
It looks cool, like in a big spread too, because then you kind of draw all the other colors from the surrounding
Yeah,
cards.
exactly. Yeah, yeah. Um, okay. The sun.
So my sun card, I think I have said on my channel before, this might be my favorite sun card because it's raining. And I do really love sunny days, I promise, but I love sunny days like today. Here it's 64 degrees Fahrenheit, which is just kind of, you know, cool, breezy. It's not I'm not like actively sweating when I walk outside to get the mail. And also I just love rain. So I love that Stephanie and Adam made this card to show some light, to show the sun, but also this kind of refreshing sense of maybe playing in the rain. And for me, that brings in that like childlike joy and stuff too, like splashing in puddles and things like that. So
Yeah,
that's my beautiful rainy sun card from Oak, Ash, and Thorn, by the way.
nice. Very nice. My sun card comes from Tarot of the Abyss. It's different. That's one of the reasons. I think that's the main reason this has always appealed to me, is it's a very different representation of the sun. So we see it as a kind of a sun type shape structure, but it's actually like a seed that things are growing from. But if you look in in the actual sun type thing, you do see
Yeah.
this kind of a this representation. What I see is a representation of like a kind of a joyful. I think is that like a village or something?
I
I'm
think
not sure.
so. It always makes me think of Oz, like Yellow Brick Road type, like walking the
Right?
path to
Yeah,
Oz.
yeah, yeah, yeah. But yeah, it's beautiful. So it's different.
He's an amazing artist.
Yes. Are you looking forward to Tarot of Echoes?
I am. I finally got her Oracle of Echoes I got from a friend secondhand. And so, yeah, I'm excited for all that.
Nice.
Okay, so my judgment card is from the Lightseers. And this one pretty immediately came to mind. I had used this deck a couple days before I started pulling cards for this, or writing my list, I should say. This card didn't come up during that, but when I was shuffling and stuff, I was, taking a look because it had been a while since I'd had this one out. Um, and the dancer, as maybe some of you, most of you know, I guess I still dance. I'm on a bit of a hiatus right now, but I'm not done. But I danced since I was little, and I was for about 5 or 6 years performing with a professional modern company. And so dance was and is a huge part of my life. This moment, like, it just seems really real as opposed to the more angelic or cosmic view that we usually get. When I'm on stage, even if there are 10 other people that I'm super connected with because we're all performing together, there are these moments that feel really alone in the best possible way. And that's what this makes me feel like, that it's this really individual, that judgment with a capital J is this really individual thing. And that this is what that moment kind of feels like for me.
Nice. Very nice. Just quickly catch up on the comments. Pretty much any sun card without a naked baby, says Donna. The sun from the Green Witch always makes me happy, says Beth. I like the sun and the new Palladini. Very stylized, no naked babies, very colourful, says Liz. Jonathan says Oracle of Echoes is one of my top favourite Oracle decks.
It's great.
Shian says Judgment from the Healing Light Tarot. Also love Judgment from the Light Seers. Great choice. My Judgment card comes from Tarot of the Holy Spectrum. The reason that I love this card is because if you like, I don't know, if you watch me reading cards often, if you happen to have seen me reading the Judgment card quite often, then you'll probably be sick of hearing me using the Unplugged from the Matrix reference. But that's one thing that I really think of with the Judgment card is it's like being set loose from Plato's cave or being unplugged from the Matrix. All of a sudden you're seeing the world as it truly is. You're able to perceive things properly and without those kind of like those rose tinted glasses or without that kind of a haze over you. And here we kind of get what was probably like the closest reference to being unplugged from the Matrix that I've ever seen. And it's entitled Awakening, which works for me. In fact, it probably works a bit better than the Judgment thing. Just because Judgment is a reference to the Last Judgment.
Right.
Which like the resurrection type thing. So yeah, I love this, and I love this deck. Just the use of color is really quite it's really interesting how color is used in this deck. And you need to look at the cards in sequence to really truly appreciate it. Um, but yeah, so this is my Judgment card or Awakening.
That deck was definitely a Chris made me do it, and that Queen of Cups came up, and that's like my
Queen
favorite
of
again with the rain. And then I just had to have that, and it's just so many of the cards are just really interesting and like kind of a new tilt on it.
Yeah, I always think of you when I use this deck now, just because I know you love that Queen of Cups card.
Oh yeah.
Every time I think of you, even if the Queen of Cups doesn't come up, I still think of you.
Yeah, and it turned out that, like I said, a lot of the cards were just really, I'm like, oh, that's really how I see it. A lot of them just happen to be um, just a little different.
Yeah. Um, Cheyenne says Judgment from the Healing Light Tarot. Also love Judgment. Oh no, we've done that. Sorry, I've read that out. Sorry, just came back to me there. Um, I'm a fan of the Judgment card from the Cosmic Cycles Tarot, says Jonathan. A unicorn deck that I finally found a copy of. Judgment is my difficult card. I like the one in the Light Seers, says Beth. Judgment from Super Lunaris is one of my faves. Though I think there's another one that I'm forgetting, says Donna.
That might be deck of the night. I don't know.
I know, I was going to say if there's one takeaway from this, it's that we need to go and look up Super Linares. Okay, final card. We're on to the world. We've kind of just
Okay.
about got there.
So, my world card is from the Inspired Soul Tarot by Juliet Peekaboo Rose. You can get this on Make Playing Cards. I'm not selling you anything, but it's a real cool, cute deck. And I was just using it for, must have been A to Z, the new A to Z tag. I used it as my favorite pip deck. So, anyway, this world card is just so cute and precious. We still get this kind of like laurel wreath, like nod to like the traditional. But then we just see this little world here. It reminds me of like in a snow globe, something contained. And um, it reminds me of like if I'm building this, right? If I'm creating this little world, that this is the complete picture, right? Everything's placed in there just right. And so that whole idea of completion and like starting a new cycle and okay, now I'm going to come build this other little world. That is what makes me think of that I'm creating it, that I'm putting all the little pieces together, and it's just really precious. So that's my world.
Beautiful. I just want to say, Cheyenne's had to dash. Says this was absolutely fantastic. Thank you for having me.
Oh, thank you.
Um, on their way to subscribe to everyone that haven't followed yet. It was an honour and a privilege. Well, thank you so much for being here, Cheyenne. It's been lovely having you. It's been absolutely brilliant getting to know you, and yeah, I've really enjoyed all the stuff that you've participated tonight. So thank you for being here. Um, my favourite world card is kind of like my reasoning is kind of in line with yours. Mine's all comes back to the Mariel Tarot. That's where I started, and that's where I'm finishing. Um, and it's this idea of bringing it all together as well. For me, the world is it's the landscape, you know. And here she is the actual landscape of the Fool's Journey, and we see that represented. We see different, like we see kind of the aspect, we see kind of the strength card, hints of the strength card here. We see the sun, the moon, the stars. We see different parts of the Fool's Journey all represented here. And to me, that is a really powerful representation of the world, because the world is like you've it's the thing that we're all aiming for. It's where it's like the full realization, or you know, it's this amazing thing that we're aiming for. Um, it's kind of like infinity in some way. Like you're never quite going to get there, but it's good to aim for it, type thing. I'm not doing that much justice. But the other thing that I love about this is if we think about what we are doing to our world, how we're basically destroying it, you can kind of see that represented in this person, because to me it looks like she's malnourished. It looks like she's not been taken care of quite so well. And again, that to me is a reference to our landscape and what we're doing to it and stuff.
That
So I
there's
think it's
work
just
to
a really,
do.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, definitely. So yeah. Um, so that was great. Donna, we did make it in under 2 hours. We did well. I'm just going to quickly check to see if there's any other. Like the world from Witch's Wisdom, says Beth. Let's see. World from Everyday Enchantment. That's for the quilt. They're making the quilt, isn't it?
Yeah.
Let's see. We've got Marita. Hi, Marita. How you doing? We did go through all of the majors. Um, Robin says, "Well done. You did it with 15 minutes to spare." Well, strictly speaking, I was trying to aim for 10:30. I was trying to aim for an hour and a half. So we have run over by 15 minutes, but
I told him, I'm like, hour and a half, hour 45. It's perfect.
um, Red Wing says this has been so interesting. I only have a few decks. It's been busy googling this evening. Thanks to you both and all in chat. Well, Thank you very much to everyone who's been here and who's participated. It's been absolutely brilliant. Been really good fun. And to be honest, I'm now going to go and watch walkthroughs of the Super Lunaris. That has been my takeaway from this evening. And I'm quite excited to have a look at it, to explore it. It's been a
I
while since there's been a new deck that I've been like, all right, I'm going to go and, look into that.
I don't know for certain, but I think it might be two creators. Possibly they're married. I could again be totally wrong with this, but if it's the one I'm thinking of, I believe Jonathan had them on, kind of explaining it too. But
Okay. Okay.
yeah.
Nice.
Oh, he is still there. Maybe he would tell me if I'm right or wrong, but that's what's in my head when I hear Super Lunaris. So I don't know.
Right. Okay. Well, Jonathan, you can let us know if that's the case. Deanne, thank you so much
Thank
for coming
you.
on with me and for hanging out with me and for letting me take up 15 extra minutes of your time. We're nearly
I
going
love
on
it.
20 extra minutes of your time now.
You know
Um,
what? The kids are upstairs in the playroom with Ryan, and that's like their favorite thing. So you're just doing them a huge favor right now. It's probably an absolute disaster in there, which is great. So
Brilliant. Well, I've really enjoyed spending the time with you, and we
yeah.
should do this more often. I say that like that's not fair because this is like it starts at 4 o'clock for you, so you're still working when I'm live, and you
Well,
know,
summertime around here is easier. It's not so difficult to like have something for the kids to do while it's just one parent. He's very capable, but my kids are wild. So now that it's lighter out and they can go outside and stuff like that, it's definitely doable more so than in the winter.
so um, excellent. Uh, Jonathan says he has a bunch of Super Lunaris videos. Um, Beth says, Chris, maybe do this with each card, suit by suit. I mean, I'll only do it if Deanne will do it with me. Let's put it that way. Let's just
That
put
is a
that right back there.
serious challenge, but I could do it.
Every now and then, it doesn't need to be often, but every now and then we could get together and do like a suit.
Yeah,
Um, if we can do it with 22 cards, we can definitely do it with 14.
yeah, I'm up for that challenge.
Cool. Right, I'll very quickly pull a card for the weekend for everyone, and then we will leave it. Deanne, you're welcome to pull a card also, but if you don't have a deck there, then um, feel free not to as well.
I have. I'm sitting in a nest of dice. Hilarious. If I don't have a deck. Oh. Hmm.
Okay. So the card that I've pulled, I am pulling from the Elemental Power Tarot. This one. Sorry,
Oh,
the light's
nice.
not the best.
Yeah.
And I've pulled the Hierophant. Let me turn the table camera on again, actually, so you can see it. I'll cover up the World card. Yeah, I've pulled the Hierophant. Um, The Hierophant for me is, I said it earlier on, so it's the teacher card. It's kind of that card where we kind of a stop and think about, we learn from our elders, we learn from the people around about us. If we're trying to do a particular task, we go to the books and we find out, right, how have people done this before us? It's kind of a where sometimes we need to let go of our arrogance and be like, right, I don't know everything. Sometimes I need to go to someone else and ask for help. A lot of the time that's what the Hierophant is asking us to do. So if you're embarking on something new this weekend, or if there's some sort of new endeavor, there might be a lot of value in looking at what people have done before you. And it's not to say that you need to copy that or necessarily, but you can be inspired by it. There's definitely a lot of inspiration to be taken from from the wise ones that have come before us. So yeah, that's my short and sweet. That's my message for everyone for the weekend.
Well, I drew one from Everybody's Tarot by Sarah Kathleen, and it's a very different art style, but that's okay. It is gratitude. So it is actually a tarot
Nice.
deck, but it has the bonus cards that came with her first edition. And so this goes along nicely with that, though I think could be like a next step of that process, but always just a good thing to keep in mind anyway. Gratitude, being happy for the little things, and a perfect weekend card, I think. Long weekend here. And tomorrow's pretty much like a half day for me because Max graduates from preschool. So we're going to be having a great day and out enjoying nature, having a little party at the park with his preschool friends after the ceremony and everything like that. So good vibes for the weekend.
Amazing. Okay, guys, thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much to Deanne again. Really enjoyed it. It's been great seeing everyone. Um,
Thank you.
Quick plug for on Sunday. Now it is Sunday morning for me, and it's going to be like the butt crack of dawn for you guys in the US. So
Yeah.
I'll apologize just now because for the time, but it was the only time that Ross and I could both make work. But I'm being joined by Ross Salerno, and we're going to talk about his new tarot deck, the New Voice Tarot, which is it's a Rider-Waite-Smith kind of inspired deck, and it's if you've not seen it, look it up. It's absolutely gorgeous. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. So if you're about, then pop on and join me. And if you've got any questions for Ross, even if you don't think that you'll make the live, but you do have questions about the deck, then feel free to email me or message me on something on Facebook or something, and I'll happily put them to Ross on Sunday morning. But yeah, that's Sunday morning at 9:30 a.m. my time. So that's going to be like 4:30 in the morning, for example, for Deanne. To be fair, Deanne, I've gotten messages from you at that time before, so I wouldn't be surprised, but you will get a row from me if you're up and about on my live at that time.
I was gonna say you never know when I'll be up feeding Vela some random wake up bottle, so I could show up.
Cool. Okay, I will love you all and leave you. Thank you so much. Take care. Have an amazing weekend, and I'll hopefully see some of you on Sunday morning. Okay. Bye, everyone.
Bye.